Just going to wait on Bobby as well. I didn't know if he was going to be here a little early, so I figured I would fire it up. Just got back in time to put up the projections, which I said I would before 6. And I am ready to attack the slate. I just did a build, but I'm probably going to change it. Okay. And I have a sweat, which I don't have any idea how to assess how it's doing exactly. I'm in that king of the baseline, whatchamacallit, qualifier thing. They finally are running that, and I got to finish in the top 50%, and it's going to be a struggle. Let's put it that way. I don't know. It's hard to tell because I never play cash, so it's hard for me to tell what's good. I will say that the lineup that I put it in would have no chance to do anything in the GPP, but fortunately, just need to beat 50%. It's gonna be close. I don't know whether I'm favored or not. It's hard to tell. I don't think I'm favored, but we'll see. It's definitely going to be a sweat. So we'll just wait for Bobby to get here, and then we'll go over tonight's slate. Again, I just did the projections, and I just did a peremptory build, which does kind of go along with it. And there's one guy who's kind of showing up as a pitcher who I really don't want to play. But I might end up having to do it just because of the ownership. So we'll have Bobby hopefully talk me off of it. We'll see what happens. Hey, Rody, you doing? Oh, wait. Hey, what's up, Bobby?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, Rody, before you leave, I have a question. Are you doing any season-long stuff?
He's
I presume you're doing season-long.
Tell you
NFL,
that's a yes,
right?
for sure, from Rody.
Somebody asked me to be in like a really big, kind of like an expensive league, and I kind of would rather have a partner who kind of knew what they were doing to go in with me. We could talk about it, I guess. I have no idea. I have one that's like a kind of a cheap one that I'll run myself. There's like a 5K league somebody wants me to go in, and I would only do it if I knew there was somebody that I could count on to basically run it, because I don't have the patience to do all the waivers and all that stuff. But anyway, where are we at, Mr. Bobby, for tonight?
This is really weird. For some reason, when you started it didn't alert anything in Discord or anything, so I don't know what's happening with that. It's the first time I've noticed that happening.
Well, people are coming. I mean,
there's a few in, yeah, but it's not popping up. It's just a little bit weird. We got to fix that. I'll make sure it gets fixed. But so I'm heavy Toronto, Seattle. I'm heavy. I'm filtering in some White Sox because they're so cheap, and I actually feel like it's a good spot. They're going to be owned and all that stuff. But they've been so bad. It's kind of like starting to frustrate me to play them. But they are, per dollar wise, like a really, really good stack. I think that the Angels the Yankees are an underrated stack, overlooked a little bit. Obviously, Atlanta is very chalky and popular, so I'm trying to stay away from a little bit of Atlanta, but I do have some pieces of Atlanta in my combo stacks. But mostly I'm focusing on Toronto and Seattle. I don't mind Philadelphia, Atlanta, and the Yankees are my next 3.
So this is where we're at. So again, I did promise I would get back in time to do the projections, and I made it by like 10 minutes. So I put the projections up at 550. I ran a preliminary build. I'll tell you what I have right now, but I want to talk through some of this with you. Just right now, and it might not be anything remotely resembling it in like 20 minutes. But I have Philly as my top, and then obviously I have Oakland second, because that's what I do. And hey, they scored 100 runs yesterday, right?
Yeah, and they were actually like the chalk too.
Yeah, I know. So I have Philly and Oakland. As far as what my builds go, if I were just gonna kind of eyeball it, I would probably have ended up with. Let me see. Yeah, you know what? All those three, Atlanta, Toronto, Philly, look to be good, and then there's Seattle. Nobody looks to be that low owned. Yeah, maybe the Yankees, like you were saying, could be a good
Yeah.
low owned one. And as far as value goes, yeah, Oakland as usual, and then Chicago. You mentioned that.
I mean,
Seattle.
people can't really play Toronto and play top pitching though unless they get creative with it. So I don't know
Well,
if that's a realistic option.
let's talk about that then. So let's talk about the pitching. What are you thinking of doing here?
I'm not playing any DeGrom on DraftKings. I do have him in FanDuel as my pitcher, sort of to hedge myself. I don't. I think the top pitchers are Cole and Lynn, price considered, and then I'm mixing in a little bit of Kyle Wright, Marco Gonzalez, Mitch White, and Joe Ryan.
Yeah, do you want to, if you want to play Toronto, do you want to play Ryan and Lynn together?
Yeah, I think Ryan's okay. I think Mitch White is totally fine as well. Obviously, Joe Ryan with the higher upside, but it is a tough matchup. And I mean, yeah, I was able to get to Toronto with Lynn and Cole, and those were, I think, the two top ones for me.
So I have one that you can talk me off of. I think. Will you take my DFS card away from me if I play Anibal Sanchez?
No, not at all.
Okay.
In fact, when you said both he and Caprillion are completely fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those kind of slates where they're actually going to. I'm guessing that Caprillion will have some ownership. No, Sanchez will have some ownership, and I'm guessing Caprillion will not have any ownership. But
yeah, I have Sanchez at a full 10%. I mean, that's ownership for him. I mean, like,
I think it might be higher than that.
You think so?
I think it's possible. Yeah.
And why does nobody? Why do we not want to play DeGrom?
They're playing the Dodgers.
Oh, okay. That's how little I know. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's fine to play DeGrom. I don't. You know, he's, you know, whatever. He's DeGrom, but I will play Garrett Cole and Lance Lynn instead. They save me money, and I like the matchups a lot better.
Right now, I would have, like, if I just did a blind whatever, I would have just the three pitchers, which would just be Cole, and then Cole, Lynn, and DeGrom pretty much equally. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different. I do want to probably get to some of those other hitting teams. So maybe I will filter in some Ryan and filter in some.
I do have one Cole DeGrom lineup. I just realized, so I don't want to say I don't have any. By the way, if this slate was a little smaller, I would be talking about not necessarily a Dodgers stack, but I am playing some one-offs. But I would consider going more than that against DeGrom. I have some Trey Turner. I don't mind the lefties, Muncy. I know it's probably a little weird for this slate. Muncy, Freeman would be my favorites, other than Turner or Betts. One of those four, I feel like are that's all I'm doing is just one on this slate. But if it was a little smaller, I wouldn't mind taking a shot. If it was like the day slate where it was a 3-gamer, I would absolutely be playing against DeGrom.
Cal Rowley's hitting 6th. At catcher. I'm just kind of looking at some things in my builds.
Yeah, you weren't here yesterday. That was really frustrating for me because I stacked Seattle all over the place by the end of it, but didn't play Cal Raleigh in any of those stacks. I combined them with.
You can get both these guys in today. You can play Haggerty and Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, I mean, the stacks that I like are expensive, so I think they're going to be harder to fit with the top end pitching.
Boy, when's the last time you saw a pitcher be 50% owned against the Dodgers?
Like never. Maybe there was one small slate with Woodruff or something, but you don't see it very often. And it might even be higher than that. Well, it would be higher than that if the stacks that people liked were a little bit lower owned. But yeah, Seattle, the Dodgers. Seattle, Toronto are my favorites. Atlanta, Philly, New York are next, and always scares me not to have more of Atlanta, but again, they're also tough to get in. So I'm siding with this is the day that we get a real breakout game from the Blue Jays, because they just haven't put up a big number in a while, and they've struggled. It's weird though. Their struggles are strange because they're making tons of contact. They're like not striking out ever. And I just don't see that's going to keep lasting where the ball's going to stay in the yard. So I like Toronto a lot.
So
everybody's asking the same questions that we're answering. So hopefully we're answering them all.
So I want to let you know that I have a sweat, and it's just an impossible sweat to even gauge. So they had that king of the baseline thing that they were running qualifiers to all year, and they finally got to. They're finally running it now. I had two $2,000 seats, so I have 2 entries in it. And today they're going to narrow 100 people down to 50. So
wait, I don't understand what this is. What is it?
It's the tennis one, King of the Baseline. Same thing I did with MMA, whatever it is. So yeah, so they spent the last like 6 months getting qualifiers, and they finally are running stage 1 today, where they have to cut 50 to 20, 100 people to 50. So I had to put in a cash line. I put in 2 different cash lineups, and it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. It's impossible for me to tell, really. Like I could tell you for sure if I was a lock, and I could tell you for sure if I had no chance. There's just no way for me to tell. There's like 100 games still going, whatever it is. So I'll let you guys know how I do. Hopefully I get one of them through. Maybe get them two of them through. Who knows? It's going to be that would be nice though if I got it through to the second round.
Yeah, I hope you do, man. Yeah, definitely do. But yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward slate tonight. I'm looking at some of I've got the hitting more spread out a little bit. And I don't have anybody all that crazy high owned. I mean, Atlanta, Toronto maybe being the most owned, but you're not talking about like crazy numbers. There's just too many other good plays at the same position.
I have no Toronto.
That's fine.
No, it's not fine. That's not
well,
fine.
I mean, you would have been fine every other day that I've been playing them lately. So, I don't know. I really like them tonight. I know they've been off. I feel like this is an explosion type of game, and I really, Seattle coming off a big performance, but I still like Seattle a lot. And then I'm definitely gonna have to throw in one White Sox stack. Like there's too many guys historically have been good against lefties on that White Sox team, and it's just having a rough year against everybody for that whole White Sox team.
I will say this. I am going to make this, I don't want to say bold take, whatever it is. I'll bet 50 cents that DeGrom is less owned than Cole, and maybe less owned than Lynn.
Maybe less owned than who?
Than Lance Lynn.
I think he's more likely to be less owned than Lance Lynn than he is by Cole.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's close,
Who the hell is going to play DeGrom against the Dodgers instead of these?
Everybody.
Really?
They play DeGrom every time he pitches. He's like 80% on.
Yeah, but every time he's had terrible. He's pitched against Colorado every game. And the one time he pitched against a good team against Atlanta, he gave up 3 runs, right?
Yeah, I mean, 3 runs, though. It's not.
3 runs bust at 10-8, I think. I don't know. At 11-5.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it depends on the strikeouts, obviously. I'm with you, obviously, because I'm not playing much of them.
This guy's for 11-5. He's got to get 10 strikeouts, and he's probably got to get the win. And when's the last time the Dodgers struck out 10 times?
It doesn't happen very often.
Except against Kyle Free against Chad Kuhl. That's it.
Yeah, well, even against him, I don't think he even struck out much. They just didn't score any runs.
Right.
Yeah, baseball's freaking weird, man. But it's a big game for the Mets. And, like, the one thing is DeGrom, we haven't really seen him with a leash yet. Like, we saw the one game where he had to throw the 90 whatever pitches. My guess is that it really is score dependent on how he's rolling. If he gets 2 runners on in the 7th or whatever, I can't tell you exactly how many pitches he'll throw, but leaning on the lower side for ceiling. And I do so because of that. I'm sort of seeing Cole and with a higher ceiling than he has, and that's what I'm playing anyway. So Christian Sosa is asking about DeGrom and Cole and playing a cheap national stack. I think that's fine. I'm not not overly excited about playing anybody on the Nationals, to be honest with you. It's always hard when we think of stacks, we think about runs scored, but it really is important to think also how those runs are going to be scored. And this team just doesn't have any, like, they've shown no sign of any power. But if you wanted to play, I mean, it's fine. They're cheap enough. It's Ruiz. I like Ruiz, Nelson Cruz, Luke Voigt, Lane Thomas, Joey Meneses. All those guys are fine. I don't really love. I'm certainly not trying to get to that. But I think it's completely reasonable if you want to do that to stack either Washington or Oakland today. Oakland's even cheaper.
For what it's worth. Oakland.
And I do get the feeling the Yankees are going to end up much lower owned than some of these other teams outside of Judge. Judge just hits home runs every day, so it's very hard not to play him for people, but they just don't know what else to do with the stack. So I think Judge ends up owned, and the rest of the Yankees don't end up.
What does he have? 45?
51.
He has 51 home runs on August 31st.
He has 20 more home runs than the next leader in the American League. It's the only time in baseball history other than Mickey Mantle in 1956.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's just homers all the time. Like it's,
and he's going to be playing for the Dodgers.
I don't think so.
You don't think?
Maybe. I would like it.
Well, how about they do a straight trade Judge for Trout to the Angels?
Yeah, I could like getting either. I think the Angels would agree to that. I'm not sure that the Yankees would.
You don't think?
It's really hard coming off of this kind of a season.
Right.
I mean, Mike Trout doesn't play, and he doesn't know. People don't realize baseball is a different thing, man. Like these guys who never play in a meaningful game in their life, and when they're hitting home runs, they're down 10-0 or up 10-0.
Right.
It's just a different way, a totally different game in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all Mike Trout's numbers aren't real. I'm just saying, like, how was he down the stretch of a season ever? We don't know because they never win any games. I'll tell you why you shouldn't stack the Mets. Tyler Anderson doesn't give up anything. Period. There's the answer. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. There's no, they've got guys who can hit lefties, but I'm not really sure what we'd be seeing to try to overspend for one of the most expensive stacks, and maybe the most expensive. The Mets are like right there. They're just barely behind Toronto.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of that.
Yeah, I have not seen Tyler. Has Tyler Anderson had a bad game like this season? I don't think he has. So it's just like one of those arguments like, yeah, we could just do the cutesy thing and just, I mean, a guy who's given up, what? He's a home run per every other outing, basically. Let's see, in terms of what he's given up earned run wise, 1-1-3-0. He had a 1-5 run game against the Giants. So there's something to look at. There's nothing really that's standing out at all for me for the Mets, but if you want to do it, I have no problem with it. It's just I would never do it. The one I think Caprillion is viable. I don't think he's really going to be 1%. Don't read RG's projections. I'm just telling you. The more I've gotten involved with SaberSim and Sheets' projections, I'm just telling you right now that RG's is by far. They do a lot of other things great. Their projections in terms of ownership are bizarre. I don't even know sometimes what's happening. So that can seem like a good thing. Yeah, I do like Seattle a little bit to answer Mark's question. I don't understand, Eric. You keep asking questions that are making my head spin. It's if you're getting 100% Lynn, but you want to play the Royals, how are you going to do that? Like I don't know. There's just no way. I don't know how to answer those kind of questions. I don't know what that means. SaberSim doesn't have him at 1%. Sheets' projections are a little more accurate, but SaberSim, yeah, I guess they have him lower than I thought. I mean, it's fine. I think Caprillion is completely viable, actually. Yeah, 3% owned, absolutely. But
what about
no, Lynn does
what
not.
About, what about Eric's idea? The second part of Eric's idea.
Well, first of all, Eric's going to throw out 74 more ideas by the time you're sent it.
No. I mean the one where we play Kansas City.
Stream home run suppressant. Well, not, actually, he hasn't been. He's giving up a lot of home runs this year. I think sure, go ahead. I'm not going to do it. No interest.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a good outing against him last time they faced him. I have no interest in Kansas City on this slate, but again, they're fine. It's just I can't name every stack. You know what I mean? Like I can't be that guy. I don't want to be like the other sites where everybody is.
Well, I mean, in fairness, we're not naming every site. I'm taking what I'm theorizing is going to be the chalkiest pitcher on the slate and trying to make a case to leverage against.
Sure, that's fair. That's fair.
It's not like I'm bringing up everybody.
No, I know. But before we know it, that's what we end up getting into because everybody. I mean, like every day in baseball, yeah, you could make a pretty compelling case for basically any team, almost any team. I don't think Kansas City is a good stack. I think that could it work out? Absolutely. Sure, it could. Do I think there's better stacks? I think there's 9 better stacks. That's my take.
I wonder if we're supposed to. So if you're not playing DeGrom. So you did mention this. You're gonna have to have a couple of these lefties, right, for the Dodgers. You were mentioning that, right? Like Muncy.
I think Muncy. I don't know about Bellinger. I'm not gonna take a one off of a guy hitting 8th. 9th, excuse me. It would probably be Freeman or Muncy if I had to pick any, but I don't think you should go out of your way to do it. I just think that for me, I'm comfortable, and Turner is the one who makes the most sense to me because he can win the position easiest.
Right.
In high stakes single entry, I fade the Braves again. I played them this. It totally depends on what you like. I think the Braves are completely fine. I think they'll be lower owned than they were yesterday, still very highly owned, and they're a legitimate stack. I don't need to play them. I have them below Toronto and Seattle, but I do have them right there, and I'm factoring ownership into that. Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York, I have all them the same. Go for the Mets, Eric. Then I'm not going to condone it because it's to me a bad play. But could it work out? Of course, it could work out. Like it's baseball.
It's baseball, obviously. But.
Yeah, it's not like and Tyler Anderson with a 3.5K prop is kind of a little ridiculous. If he has less than 3 strikeouts, then I would say that you're probably doing really well. Yeah, the Mets are fine. It's just are the Mets going to outscore with more power in one of the worst hitters' parks than all of these other teams? I just don't think so. I don't mind if I want to get different and play the Mets, why would I 5-man stack them? What would be the purpose of that? Unless you really think they're going to go off against a team with a good starting pitcher and a really good bullpen. The argument would be maybe Alonso, Lindor, and Marte each have a good argument on their own, but I don't see it as a full stack for me. I appreciate the kind words, guys. Thanks for everything. What's up to Antonio? And seeing what else we got in here.
Yeah, I would just like to say what I'm doing. So now that I said what I did, and now I said I'm going to change it, I am going to change it. I'm just going to announce what I'm doing. Okay, so as you'll recall, just to put my money where my mouth is, my original build, I had equal amounts pretty much of Lynn, DeGrom, and Cole. All right, basically shuffled. So basically all of them like 67%. And I felt as though I wanted to play maybe a little bit of Ryan, okay, and maybe this Anibal Sanchez thing made sense. And then I was talking to you about DeGrom, and they're playing the Dodgers, and for all these reasons, I X'd out DeGrom completely. So I'm be playing 0 DeGrom and actually forcing in 20% Sanchez and 20% Joe Ryan, and the rest will be Lynn and Cole. So yeah, that's that.
I do like, for what it's worth, I do think like if I was playing a bunch of lineups, I probably would have some DeGrom, but I'm not playing enough to where it's
that's all right. I'm on. Listen, it's August 31st, so it's going to be the end of Bobby's August month. So if I gotta put all the mojo. I'll be rooting. I can't stack the Dodgers, but I can certainly full fade DeGrom. So we're gonna do that.
We need to do some mojo, man. I need something.
We're gonna see what happens.
Something to happen. I thought yesterday was going to be the day. It was such a flying start. In 3 innings, I had like 120 points.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was nuts. I was in second place of the big one and everything, and I was cruising because Seattle scored like 9 runs right away, and they were all 1% owned.
Oh, wow.
So, and home runs from Ty France and Santana, and I had them split in my Seattle
that's
stack.
right. That's right.
It just looked like it was going to be one of those big nights, but it just never, nothing kept going. And then the Braves chalk that I mixed it with didn't do anything. So that's what.
All right. So I am actually going to address some of the Eric Johnson's questions. So first of all, I do not believe that Sanchez is going to be only 1% owned. I think that I think you're going to get. I think you might. I think you might get double digits out of him.
I think he's talking about Caprillion though.
No, he's saying Sanchez versus Oakland. He says I like Sanchez. He says I like Sanchez 1% versus Oakland.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get more owned than that. He just projects as too good of a point per dollar play.
Oh, he switched because earlier he said he liked the Oakland pitcher versus the things. I don't know how many lineups, Eric. How many lineups are you playing? You better be playing 150, buddy. I know Eric we go back from my RG days. There must be like 150 lineups that he's playing because.
No, I don't think so. Because I think that if you play 150, you don't really just you don't ask those types of questions. You know what I mean? If you play 150, you just kind of like run your shit and just run it. You know what I mean? And then you kind of force some things in or whatever. I think he's really trying to like hand build like 20 lineups or something. I think that's kind of what
maybe
30 lineups, right? Yeah, there it is. Only 30 lineups. You know how many lineups I'm playing, Eric? 30. Exactly 30. So we're in the same amount of lineups.
The same place, yeah.
Well, not the same place, but definitely the same amount. So if you want to be whatever, I will have 20% the aforementioned Anibal Sanchez, if that helps you or hurts you.
Have you guys seen this tournament on this sheets? Are you in the 333 on FanDuel? You're not playing on FanDuel, I'm guessing.
No.
It's hilarious. The first place is 15,000. Second place I think is 1,800. Third place is 1,500. It goes from 25,000 to 1,800, 1,500.
Dude, Bob, so you weren't paying attention. You didn't see what happened yesterday. This is like just the ultimate tilt. Okay, I want to vent. Okay,
Vent it up.
So this was from tennis yesterday. Okay, so I was in first place in the tennis GP. Remember I said I paid 50,000 for first. Okay. So I was in first by myself, $50,000 with a unique lineup, and I had to sweat some guys. I had some people coming, and there was one lineup that had one guy who needed to do something to get me. He was probably about 30% to do it, whatever it is, and the guy had 4 fucking duped lineups of the exact same.
Oh my god!
And they all got me by 1.5 points. Reducing me from $50,000 to $1,000.
Oh my god, that is freaking tilting.
He got first, second, third, fourth over me by 1.5 points.
That is really tilting.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Sheets, I am not a Gavin Sheets fan. How about Gavin Newsom? Let's see. Why do I play in the ME? Saber wants me to play Lynn. Oh, who do I play? Saber wants me to play Lynn. I will say this, by the way, Eric. If you use Saber Sim, you are going to be faced with those types of decisions every FanDuel slate because they want you to play the cheaper guys in FanDuel all the time. So,
and in baseball, logically, that's what you should. I mean, that makes the most sense. The most expected thing in sports that we have outside of basketball are pitcher projections. Even though they're going to even out to be close, but so you're always going to want to spend. They're always going to want you to spend up and then spend down on the hitting because the hitting is
no. You misheard me. Saber Sim wants you to pay down for pitching on FanDuel.
It does it really? Oh, on FanDuel. On FanDuel.
Just FanDuel.
And it's different. Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's tilting because like. We know we want the quality start. We want all of it, and you usually don't need to, but for whatever reason, like you're faced with that decision every slate on FanDuel. So that's what it is. Yep. Feels like we're always waiting for the Yankee lineup. Cam them in. Hey, you can put it up now. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's not the Yankees' fault. It's they're playing on the West Coast. It's just they always release their lineup roughly 3 hours before lock. But when they're playing on the West Coast, it's going to be different. The team that's really annoying is the Giants, who will wait till like an hour and a half before the game at the earliest to announce their lineup. Drives me nuts.
Oof.
Drives me nuts.
One thing I will tell you, by the way, and I'll figure out how to do this right with this sports betting stuff. I do so much freaking hedging using sports betting with some of this tennis stuff. Like, because you can do all this crazy stuff. Like, I look and I will see that, like, the only thing I need is for some guy not to win in straight sets, and then I'll just find the prop and say, okay, I'll bet on the guy to win in straight sets. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like to hedge there, and you can get a lot of cool leverage there. And I haven't figured out the best, mathematical way to do all this, but it's a lot of things you could do to at least reduce risk if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting sweat. I think this 50-50. I don't know. We're gonna have to. It's gonna be like another hour before you even know what I'm rooting for. So let's see what happens.
All right, let's see.
Casper Run. That's good.
They're batting Teoscar Hernandez 7th. What the hell is going on?
Teoscar Hernandez is hitting 7th.
I kind of knew he was going to be today too when I saw the early lineup projections, but it just feels weird.
She should definitely get a Chiefs jersey. The Yanks you like if they play Benintendi, Stanton, Judge. Okay. Can't argue with that.
Sort of like some of these cheap Arizona pieces, by the way, on DraftKings that I didn't mention before.
I've got a lot of that.
Yeah, Hummel, Garrett. Those would be the two main ones that are just super cheap.
I got some of this Sergio Alcantara 2K.
Yep. Yeah, and the best one by far is Rivera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you like him.
I really like him, yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you who's good. Oh, no. I could tell you who's good. I'm going to announce a guy from Arizona who's going to be 4K one day. Maybe.
Okay.
My Joe Adell one didn't work out, but I got one from Arizona. This guy, Stone Garrett.
Yeah, I just played. I just said Garrett. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He swings hard. He's built. He runs. I like him. He's hitting 5th at 2,100. Wow.
Yeah, and it's a good matchup.
You got the old 5-6er with Stone Garrett and Cooper Hummel. God.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
And then we're off to the races.
All right, I guess I'm gonna get going. I've had the longest freaking couple of days, and I have my season. I have one of my season long drafts at 10. So I'm gonna. Mrs. Sheets has grown up some barbecue. I'm gonna enjoy that, and
nice.
Sweat this tennis thing. I don't know exactly what I'm rooting for, but I'll let you guys know.
Sounds good. All right. Well, good luck, buddy. Good luck to everybody out there, and hopefully we get a big night to head into September the right way.
Sounds good.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
All right, later.